Rolling.
Wonderful, wonderful. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the place where money falls out of the sky, where we manifest our dreams and we have our lives the way that we want them. Pardon me? Who needs one of these forms? Who needs the treatment? Who doesn't have the treatment memorized yet? Have you filled out a form? Oh, Michelle hasn't filled out a form. Karen hasn't filled out a form. Have you filled out a form, Karen?
I filled out a form. I just don't have it.
You don't have it memorized. Michelle needs a form. Anybody else? We want to make sure everybody's included. And I want to stall just one more minute while this whole crowd comes in from dinner together. There we go. There we go. Yay. Come on in. Come on in. Sign in later. Come on in. Come into the room. Quick, quick, quick. Janie. Come on in. Nancy, David, Betty. Come in. Because this is a really important time. This is a time when we join together in consciousness and create the life of our dreams. This is a very important time to pay attention, to open up, and to be present for corralling and using and setting the most powerful law of creation in the universe in motion. Do you get it? Yes! My question to you is always, are you ready? Yes! Are you ready to have money pour out of the sky? Yes! Are you ready to have money show up in your mailbox? Yes! Are you ready for people to give you money? Yes! Are you ready for opportunities and situations to show up? Are you ready for opportunities and opportunities to show up in your life that are going to make you millions? Yes! And together, we claim it aloud.
I surely know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith knowing now activates universal law, and I accept the results. I bless all that I have now, and I bless the increase. I bless all the others in the increased income program of our class, and I know that we now prosper together in every way. I give thanks for this good, and so it is.
Okay, those of you who have stories about money, come up. Put your check in the basket. Come up to the microphone. Woohoo! Very, very good day. Come on up, Crystal.
Yay, Crystal!
Yay, Crystal.
Money to spare and money to share.
Tell us what happened.
Well, I'm in the process of moving and found out that most of the different, whether it's AT&T or Duke, that I'm getting money back, which is really good. I got a letter in the mail from Capital One saying that they'd made some kind of mistake and they were crediting my account for over $23. And I have a moving sale, so I made a few hundred and
Yay! Yay!
I came with some money today. Yesterday, actually. I've been so happy it's all the same thing. I had some windows out of my old log cabin, which were very ventilated. And I had to replace with real windows. So all these old windows have been sitting in my shed for years. A gal called me and said, would you like to sell your windows, your old windows? I said, sure. You got any money? Yes.
I went to Starbucks yesterday and I got 2 drinks, and somebody else
else got 2 same drinks. Like I got 2 mocha or white mochas, and somebody else got mocha frappuccinos, and they took my drinks. And when I went up there, I was like, this isn't what I ordered, but I'm just gonna take it because they're still delicious and super sweet, and that's what I was going for. And they were like, oh, I'm so sorry, I'm so sorry. And I was like, I really don't feel like this was y'all's fault. And they were like, well, here, have your next 2 drinks on us free. So I have 2 free drinks at Starbucks the next time I go. And I got into a car accident back in July, and they were going to repair it, and then the radiator cracked because of the frame, and I told y'all last week that they were going to cover the radiator. Well, they went and inspected it last week, and they called me today and said, we're declaring your car a total loss, and they're giving me $2,000 over the Kelly Blue Book value of it.
I won a little lottery for $200.
I started a new job the first night of class, and it looks like I'm going to be there to the end of the year.
Rebecca and I both just got a raise at the hospital. Right. On a side note, it takes 1 hour and 15 minutes for me to do a discharge clean after a patient's discharged. Do you know how many times I can say that affirmation? Because I go into meditation.
Unexpected money from a client.
Unexpected check in the mail from the state of California.
This is a rerun from last week because the same thing happened. I was playing music, and people came and put $20 in my pocket twice.
Come on up, Jane.
Last week I found my penny for the year. Every year I found a penny, and it's a whole lot's wonderful for me because it assures me that there is a God and there is something flowing toward me. So
I get a pencil. I was trying to get one of these for a long time, and I was working, doing stuff and not jobs, trying to make money and get this iPencil done. It goes with a big honking iPad. For $40 a month.
So I've just been experiencing over the last few weeks, oddly enough.
Closer to the mic.
Yeah, we can't hear you. Closer to the mic, please.
I've been experiencing over the last few weeks a real sense of peace and abundance and just feeling happy. I don't know what to attribute it to. My business is doing better than usual, and our 3 grown kids are all moderately happy at the same time. That never happened. So
A new normal.
A new normal. That would be a typical. And I just feel a lot of gratitude.
Yeah.
I was just handed some unexpected money, so I'll share.
Anybody else? Money is flowing in this group. Open up to it. Money is trying to find you. It's knocking on your door. The only way you can keep money away is to push it away. Just stop pushing. Open up to it, accept it, bring it on in, and watch it collapse into form in your life. Yay. Okay, my darling.
I'm going to get us going tonight. Do we have anybody here that's not been here before? Welcome. Liva, right?
Yes.
Wonderful. Welcome.
Thank you.
Who is this now?
It's my friend Kelly.
Hi, Kelly.
Wisconsin.
Let's welcome Liva and Kelly. Come in. So this is our 5th class, and all kinds of things have happened and continue to happen. And I think we're learning on the way. Who's learned something from this class? I certainly have. Good, good. So we're headed the right direction. So in going through these last chapters of the book about happiness and wealth, and a pocket full of money and all that good stuff, what kind of got my attention that I want to talk to you about is this idea of first cause. Sounds very formal, first cause. But it truly is the explanation metaphysically of who we are, this idea of first cause. It is, oops, no markers yet, but there will be in a moment. Here we go. This is what we do. This is the teaching or the teaching symbol of our movement. It goes like this. And what this speaks to are the 3 elements that are required for creation. We must have the invisible presence of the divine, the creative source, first cause. We must have some mechanism that takes that initiation and turns it into something that is physical. Right? That's what we do. That's how it works. That's why we use this symbol to represent the creative process. And that's why we, not by mistake, call it the teaching symbol, because we use it to teach. First cause. First cause. The truth is that there's only first cause. Although there's this concept called secondary causation that Thomas Troward spoke. And it's an interesting idea. Barbara, would you share with us what Thomas Troward, one of Ernest Holmes' teachers, said about
Troward groupie.
You'd be it.
When you allow your purpose to be contingent upon any person, place, or thing, you have descended to the level of secondary causation. And that is the realm of doubt, fear, and limitation. So if you're doubting, if you're afraid, or if you have limitation of any kind in your life, you are dealing in secondary cause. Your purpose is contingent on a person, a place, or a thing, something outside of you.
Perfect.
Woo.
So, using this model and hearing what Barbara just said, I want to ask you some questions. Where are you in this model? You're first cause, you sure?
Yes.
Okay. Where's your body? Ah, your body's down here. Where are your emotions?
First cause.
No, it's not. Are emotions something real, or do they have a physicality? No. There's nothing going on there? There's nothing physical about it? Nothing energetic about it? No, there is. You can't see our emotions, but you certainly can feel them. Where are your, let's see, where's your gender? Where's your race? Yeah, some of you people don't think you have one. Yes, it's here, because that's all part of the physicality of life. Anything that has any element of physicality to it must go here. In fact, we say that it's our thoughts that are impressed upon the law that create the effect. But I've come to believe that even our thoughts are effect, because our thoughts are things. But the action of having a thought impresses the law. I'm not sure it's the thought that does it, but we as spiritual beings think, and in doing so impress the law to create an outcome. The first thing that we create is the thought, and a thought is a thing. So even thoughts are at the point of effect. Here's how secondary causation happens. You see something down here. You're here. The real you is here. You're not physical form. You're a spiritual being. But you observe something. And the observed thing is here. And we go, oh, that's a problem. So we've given the thing at the point of effect some level of control by saying that it's a problem, or we're afraid of it, or we don't know what to do with it, or whatever emotional thing we have with it, we bring it back up here, and we have a thought. And that impresses upon the law and recreates the problem. And recreates the problem. I have long since believed that the universe was not created. It must be created constantly to exist. There must be the idea of physical form at all times for it to exist. It's not like it got created like you took a piece of stone and carved something and put it on a shelf, and it's always going to be there. That's not how it works. It must be thought to exist. It must be continuously observed and recreated all the time. Sort of like in a movie strip, all still action pictures thrown together. There's a space in between them, and even the scientists, what are they called? The guys that do the quantum physicists say that life seems to be a pattern of stillness, moving into and looking like it's moving into action. So that all of life may be very much like a movie film. That it happens again and again and again so quickly, so instantly quickly in our thinking that it continuously creates. So secondary causation, as much as it has the word cause in it, is really initiated here out of something seen here. So there really is only cause.
So you're saying that thoughts are effect?
We create thoughts, but in the process of creating a thought, we impress the law. But the thought is a thing, therefore it must be here. Everything is here.
How about making it from the first cause? The thought is the first cause. It's from your spirit.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so is everything else. Going through the law into effect. Even your thought, for you to think it, it has to be a thing. It has to be a thing. Most of our thoughts have words or images or something which makes it a thing. Even though you can't see it, except in your mind's eye, it seems to exist. But in the process of doing that, the law takes it and turns it into a chair. Wow, because I had this vision of a chair, and then I got some wood, and I started cutting it into shapes and put it in the lathe, and this is what came out. You know? But it started with a thought. So that thought must be a thing. It must be real.
Couldn't it be from spirit, a thought?
Well, everything is from spirit. Everything is initiated by spirit. Everything. But it always begins with a thought.
A thought is different from spirit. I mean,
this is simply spirit.
Yeah.
Simply spirit.
But
That's it.
Oh.
Now, as spirit, what do? Well, we can do two things. We can experience, but everything we experience is down here. And we can express, which is our ideas that go through the law and turn into things. It's okay. It really does work. And it doesn't matter. It doesn't take anything away to put your thoughts here. Because the thoughts don't really have the power. You do. You have the power. You have the power to think whatever you choose to think. And the thought is the first step in the creative process. It's the first step because you have a thought. You think that something's real, therefore it is. So if we are this incredibly creative being, each one of us is a creative spiritual being, and we can impress upon the law and have stuff show up in our life, why do we have everything we ever wanted?
Don't believe it.
Doubt. Vibration.
Yeah, it's our limited thinking. It really is the fact that even though that is the highest truth of us that we can create anything we choose, we can be and do anything that we choose, we don't really believe that. You know, we've lived on planet Earth long enough, most of us for a few years now, and what ends up happening is we buy into this idea of limitation. We don't walk around saying, oh, I'm limited. No, we think, I can't do that. You know, if something gets beyond the realm of what we believe we can do, it's easy to say, I can do anything. But what can you do? What can you do? What can you choose to do? Anything. Well, what is it? What is yours to do? And we get on this run. Something that I've used as teaching for years is this notion that we don't get what we need. Anybody want to argue that? Do you think you get what you need?
Yes.
You get everything you need. Everybody on the planet gets everything they need.
I didn't say everybody.
It's either real or it's not. It's either so or it's not. So need is not the basis for creating stuff. How about wants? Do we get everything we want? So what do we get?
We get what we are.
We get who we are. Exactly. That's what we get. The essence of who we are in consciousness is all we can have in our lives. Now we can expand that at any second. We can choose to have a bigger sense of who we are at any moment, and from that create more. But that doesn't necessarily come naturally. You've got to actually see that. You've got to actually choose that. You have to accept that that is even a possibility. Because all the things that are beyond what you know as your life right now are theoretical, because you don't have them. Because that's not your life. That's not what's happening. Therefore, it's outside of that realm that you've influenced so far. Is that all that you can do? Of course not. But how do you move beyond that realm? How do you, Gikandi says that all the wealth is already here. Well, if it's already here, why haven't I got mine? You do have yours, according to your sense of yourself right now. You got everything you can have right now. How do you get more? You have to change your perception of yourself. You've got to change what you imagine yourself to be from here. And then this grows. It's that simple. That you take that idea and you bring it down here. So what is the idea here? If it's based on this, and trust me, most of us it's based on this, what we got right now. If it's based on this, then it won't grow, it won't change. Here's an interesting thing that Gikandi brought up in the book that I thought was helpful. How many of you all own property? I want you to know that's an illusion. Yeah. It's sort of like, this is my favorite example of this. Which one of the fleas actually owns the dog? Which one of the humans actually owns the earth? We create models and systems for saying who does, but that's all made up. And I don't know anyone that took their property with them when they died. The pharaohs tried that. You know, wives and servants and gold, and they put it all in there like those tombs, those pyramids were a spaceship that was going to take off. No. You don't get to take any of that beyond this physical realm. That stuff belongs to the physical realm we're in. The thing is, though, is that we can use it while we're here. According to our understanding, we can use it. And the key thing is not ownership, it's flow. Flow is the thing that causes this to work. Everything that comes into your life flows into your life. So you must be an open receptacle for flow if this is going to work. How does that work? Well, everything is based on flow. Everything is moving constantly. Well, the one thing you can count on is change. Change is going to happen in every part of your life. The question is, how do you want it to change? Do you want the experience to grow? Do you want it to be more fulfilling? If you do, then you have to do that consciously. Because life on its own does not cause you to evolve. Everything we know about the concept of evolution comes through initiation of something. Survival of the fittest is what they worked on in the beginning. But truly, it just continues with this idea, if we have a clearer picture of what we would like to have, our lives will change into that. But we have to initiate, because we are the initiators. We are at first cause. We are at cause itself. We are cause itself. Therefore, we initiate by our thinking. So we have to think differently. I do not want anyone to raise their hand as I ask this question. Just ponder this. A few weeks ago, we did 2 weeks ago, we did an exercise where we did a lot of goal setting and did a whole series of processes. We did not complete them. Do not raise your hand either way. But did you go back and finish that? Did you go back and work on that? Don't tell me. Because if you did, you want to tell me, oh yeah. And if you didn't, you really don't want anybody here to know it. And it doesn't matter whether they know it or not. It's important for you to use that as a sense of how you initiate in your life. That was one of the most powerful things I've ever learned. And I'm not even that good at staying on top of making sure that all of those thoughts in my mind and what I write and have in my planner are exactly right. But the more energy you put into that creative process of thinking about how you want your life to look, the greater chance that it's going to happen. So whether you did or you didn't, I encourage you to keep doing that. Don't forget about that, those little sheets of paper that you have put somewhere. Pull them out and think about them. They will make an extraordinary difference in your life. Gikandi talks about it, one of Holmes' books talks about this, that thing about students from Yale. The ones that had a plan became richer. The 3% that planned had more wealth in their lives, more prosperity in their lives than the 97% that didn't, even though they were very capable people, graduates of Yale. Yes, Ginny.
What astounded me was when he suggested you might have 5,000 goals. And I worked backward because that seemed totally ridiculous. And I got to, well, 1,000? My God, what would you do with it? But then when you read through and he says, well, once you've accomplished a goal, you want to keep the energy high and keep going. And the universe has to have something to work with. Therefore, you need lots of goals. And I was just amazed. But it's very helpful. I can see it.
Absolutely. If you are focused on the outcome that you're calling into your life, you have an incredibly greater possibility of achieving it. And if you don't have that thought in your life, if you don't, and we don't, you're going to remember 5,000 goals right off the top of your head? Of course not. You're going to have to remember 10. If you made a list of 10 and put it somewhere, and I said, what are your 10 top goals? What are the chances are you could just name them off? Now, some people might be able to do that. If you have an eidetic memory, you could certainly do that. But most people can't do that. So you go to the piece of paper and you read it. Now, some people say, I've written my goal list, and I put it away, and I went back to it 2 years later, and by God, I got every one of them. Great, that's wonderful. That's great. But most of us need a little reminder on a regular basis. And we need to look at the list and go, that needs to be tweaked. You know, you got to work on it. And when you tweak it, what you're doing is you're bringing some life back into it and getting it active. This process that I've just been through, finishing my second book, was just such a rush to see it come together, to where nobody was pushing me but me for a long time. And then I got an editor. And sure enough, he started pushing me. You know, and that helped. And I really got into a rhythm, and I got to where we were going saying, okay, we've got a manuscript. I can work with a publisher now. So I went and found a publisher. We came to an agreement. We said, this is what I'm going to get for all of it. And he said, okay, get it to me. And I went to the editor and said, they want it. They want it next week. And he goes, we can't give it to him next week. It has hundreds of mistakes in it. We have to go through all. He freaked out on me. It was great. It was so exciting. And then I've got a graphic artist that, okay, we're going to do an ad in Science of My magazine. Give me some material to put in the ad. What? So I had to write the ad copy. And then they said, well, what's on the back cover? So I went back to my editor and I said, you read the damn book. What am I going to put on the back cover? And he wrote something and I changed it, and then another editor changed it. And then they said, where are your endorsements? This was wonderful. It was actually exciting. And my two endorsements, that we're putting my picture and what the editor wrote that's really very good, and two endorsements, and they are from Terry Cole Whitaker, who I hadn't talked to in a few years, but I sent her an email, and God bless her, she read the frickin' book and sent back this thing, and her endorsement starts, it's about time somebody wrote this book. And she went on from there.
Did you get Edwin Gaines?
No, I wanted to do one secular and one with a spiritual slant to it. So Terry was my spiritual slant, and God bless him, Brian Biro wrote the other one. And you know, Brian Biro comes and sits in our sanctuary. You have no idea who this guy is. He's one of the top 50 motivational speakers in America. That's right. He just closed a book deal with Penguin. And it wasn't one of those deals where we'll see how it goes. They paid him for the book up front. You know, that's who Brian Biro is. So And selling books these days is not that easy. So getting a deal with Penguins, it says who you are. In fact, what one a book publisher told me is, oh, we don't publish books based on the topic. We publish books based on the author. If the author is well enough known, we'll publish the book. And if they're not, we won't. It doesn't matter how good the book is. Interesting, huh? Yeah. So that's how the book industry works now. So getting this book published and having it out there, and then at the bottom of the email that Terry sent, she said, this is going to be a bestseller. Awesome. Really? Awesome. So I got to work on my idea of what this is. It's not down here, it's here. Yes. I have to be here with the book. And see the book here. And create it that way. So it's really up to me. I mean, Terry can say that. Barbara can treat that, which she does regularly. I'm going to go ahead and just say what she says in the treatment. And this book is on the New York Times 10 bestseller list. And every time. What a creative process. You know, and I have to be engaged in it. I have to work on it. So, you know, what a journey. Is that a good thing? It is. It brings life into me to do this, to be so engaged in a project like that. And then to have other people writing something about it when they read it. You know, it's about time. You know, this is, Brian wrote something like, it's going to rock your world. You know, wow. Really? They think that about what I did? I better get my act together. You think something that good or better? You know? It's important. We are driving the whole thing from here. And the outcome's all here. And if I play small up here, I'll get small down here. There's no other way around it. And it's lovely to have other people do that and see that in my work. But it's up to me to make it happen. Nobody else can do that but me. I don't do it alone because these other people support me and believe in me and buy the book or whatever else it takes. They do all those things. So it's not like I'm on my own with this, but I'm driving the train. The train may be filled with all kind of good folk, but I'm driving the train on this one. Yes.
What's the name of the book?
It's called the Sorry Syndrome. It's about learning not to say you're sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, and not apologizing. Apologizing is not the other alternative. The alternative that I'm teaching the book is learn from what you do. Everything is an opportunity to learn. And when you say you're sorry, you don't learn squat. So I explore that whole idea and create a mechanism for really learning. And the answer is not how lovely my relationship is with the person that I seem to have done something to offend. That's their work. My work is to learn from what happened so that I don't not only not do it again, but I understand what I did. And that I grow in my understanding of how I function in life through that experience, as hard as it may have been, whatever it was. And I explore, how do you do that? How do you address that? You know, when somebody's really pissed at you, what do? Saying you're sorry is not it. You've all heard the thing say, "Wait, I said I was sorry," as though that meant anything. It doesn't. And we've taught ourselves to think that way, and that's not it. But I'll do it when the book comes out in October. I'll do a whole workshop on it. And it is, The cool thing, it'll be advertised in Science of Mind magazine. In October, that's the 90th anniversary of the magazine, and what they're doing is they're printing twice as many as they normally do. And that means that the idea is you get yours and you've got one to share with somebody, and the ad will be in there. So will my article about Robert Brown and his incredible connection to Ernest Holmes from 50, 60 years ago. And then they're going to run a second ad because it won't really be available for sale in October when that's out. It comes out on October 21st, so the November issue will also have a way for you to order online the book. So that's all happening. Wow. And that's just exactly what I'm talking about. We are absolutely in charge of the experiences of our lives. And they're filled with joy and blessings and good stuff. But we are the initiator. We cannot rely on life to come to us. We cannot rely on what's happening down here to be our guide. There's no guidance here. There's just a historical understanding of what has happened to this point. I mean, it's good reference material, but it doesn't do anything but tell us where we are. When I asked you the question about have you gone back to those goal sheets and worked them, that's kind of how we are doing our lives. Most of us don't think about, how do I put energy and attention into the things that I want to have in my life? And even when we get the opportunity and somebody gives it to us on a platter, it's unnatural to pull time out of our busy schedules, because we're all very busy. We all have things to do. We all have places to go. We all have people to see. And what happens is we do all those things, and the changes sort of just happen in our lives. But what I find in life, when you don't take charge of this and work it from here, maybe that secondary causation stuff is that it'll take care of itself. It'll take care of itself by suddenly a doctor will tell you that you've got something that you didn't know you had, or a judge will tell you that you're going to do something you didn't want to do, or a partner or a boss or somebody will share information with you that you don't want to hear, because you're not focused on those ideas in your life working out. And you're not putting energy into seeing them change the way that you would like them to change, because they're going to change, every single one of them. And I'm not saying that any of those things that I mentioned there are wrong, from the doctor or the judge or the partner or the boss. Those things aren't wrong, but you're not at the helm of driving those outcomes if you're not thinking about them, if you're not working toward something changing, because everything's going to change. Change is the only constant. Things are going to change. Are they going to change the way you'd like them to change? Or are they going to change and you're going to go, whoa, I wasn't expecting that? Because that will happen if you're not paying attention, if you're not doing the work of creating your life. So the idea of getting up in the morning and setting a standard for your life and saying, this is what I will create today through my excitement, my enthusiasm, my joy, my happiness. This is what it will be created in my life today. If we don't do that, then life will just take care of us and give us the mediocre stuff that's happening to everybody else. So which way do we want to do it? A doctor told Barbara, God, probably several years ago, when we had some blood tests done, that she had the marker for hepatitis C. And she didn't want to talk about that for a long time. But then she worked on it. And she got really clear. I watched her get clear. I watched her sister tell her, you don't have hepatitis C. I don't want to hear that. And Barbara said, okay, I can see that can be. And she worked on it, and finally went to a doctor, did all the blood tests, and found out last week she does not have hepatitis C. Because of her choice. And she did that from here. Because yes, she does have a marker in her body for hepatitis C, but her body got rid of it. And I believe that's because she made the choice from here not to have that experience here. And we get to do that in our lives. No mistakes, no accidents. We're creating our lives. It's only when we're not paying attention and not driving the train that we end up finding that things aren't working. So this idea of flow is really what I believe has everything in the world to do with this. Everything in the world to do with it because we must flow in our lives. So I want to do, let's see which exercise. I want to do the magnet thing first. Something that I think is an interesting phenomenon in life is this thing called magnetism. You can take a bar of metal, it's a magnet, and it has poles at the ends. Positive pole and negative pole. Is this the bad pole? No, that's not what it means. What does it mean? It means that there's an energy that generates through this piece of metal that allows another magnet here with the same direction being there to be attracted. These things come toward each other. And what they do is they create this generation of energy that goes through the entire thing. There's an alignment of molecules that go through this. They go in a direction. That's how it works. That's what that connection is. Now if you try to do it the other way here, that repels, because that alignment of flow doesn't work. If they're opposing pole, if they're the same pole, they must be in the other direction so that there's that flow. And you can just keep adding on to it at either end with the right configuration, and you get that magnetic field that continues to grow. You can do that with electricity and run it through electric motors and cause create a rotor inside of it that actually causes it to turn because of the magnetic fields, and that's how we generate electricity. It's how we turn turbines and pumps and all kinds of things. It's a natural phenomenon. It's based on flow. There's a natural flow, and it's happening all the time. So I want everybody to get up. We're going to create a big circle around this room, We're going to take hands in a circle. So everybody just kind of, we may have to stand a little close to go all the way around. Okay, everybody in? Everybody holding two hands? So you think we're sharing a flow here? There's a flow going through this with us being here, isn't there? All right. My request is that everybody continue to hold hands as I demonstrate this, okay? All right. This is called an energy stick. And the way it works is that it will see if there's energy now. I'm not touching you in any other way, right? Take a hold of that. Okay, let go. Okay, see how it works? Okay, now when we go back and hold it again, not yet, I want Laura and Deb, see you guys over there? When I tell you, I want you to let go of your hands, okay? Go ahead. I didn't tell you yet. Okay, go ahead and let go. Go back. That demonstrates that there's a flow right here among us. We are connected with an energetic flow because we're here together and because we have physical contact. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, it's awesome.
How about that? Okay, let's do it one more time. Okay, loves, let go over there. See there? Somebody else let go, didn't you? Yeah, you did. Yeah, you just wanted to see. Okay, give yourselves a hand. You created flow. Okay, what does that have to do with anything, right? It has to do with the fact that flow is a reality in our lives. So some of you may have seen this little experiment done before. This is what you're looking at. Symbols everywhere. So what we have here is you. This is your life. And this is your, whatever, it's green. So if you want to call it money, that's fine. Whatever it is, this is what you have in your life at any particular moment. Now, is that enough? Are you happy with that?
No.
No, there's room for more there, isn't there? What is this? This represents the infinite abundance of life. It's a symbol. It's not, of course, everything, but you can see that it's way more than that, right? So how do we go from this, which is the infinite abundance of life, to this? Well, there's ways. So we want more of this in the world to be here. Huh. How does that work? Well, we can want it. I really want that here. I really, really want it. I want it now. I want it. Well, let's get fancy here. Let's do a prayer saying that I want the value of the universe, all the stuff, all the good stuff in life to work its way, and I will draw it to me. I will draw it to me, right? A little bit. That didn't really do it, did it? But what if we took some of this that we have right here and we floated into the universe? Will it work?
It was an air bubble.
Yeah, it was. We're gonna try it again. Well, the first time I did this, it worked so good.
Still an air bubble.
Here it goes. Oh, it's really coming. More than enough. I'm overflowing.
Yay!
Yay! So the idea of the model is that if we prime the pump, if we put something into the flow in life, it will cause flow to come to us, just like a magnet. If we energize it by giving to it, what you get in return is more coming to you. Now, if you do it with the attitude that, I'll give you my last of what I've got, and that's all I've got, what are you going to get? Nothing. But if you very consciously say, and this isn't just about money, but it works with money too. If I give to life, if I support life in a constant way, life must support me. That comes from here. That comes from the idea that if I flow into this consciously, in a joyous way, more is going to come to me. It's going to be more than I imagine. And it has to be beyond yourself. Everybody that's focused on getting is limited. But anyone that's focused on giving, their idea of life is giving. How can I give? How can I support? And she's not here tonight, is she? And her name just flew out of my head. Our practitioner that tithes. Lynn Villa, thank you. Just didn't come in the moment. Lynn Villa is obsessed with tithing. She tithes online through PayPal. And never, does she ever give us, does she ever send money to the center that is an even amount? Very seldom. It's usually, and 36 cents. Because she calculates, and what she's doing is she's working from here. It's not the money that does it. It's not the money. The money is here. The money's all happening here, so the money is not causing it to happen. But her intention, her clear intention to be a tither, it's her game, and I'm not saying you have to be a tither, but you have to be in some form of flow to make this work in your life, or you're stuck. You're stymied. If you're just talking about getting and somehow think that you're going to keep what you get, there's no flow. There's just this one-way thing and it dribbles. But if you're clear, and this is Lynn's game, is that the moment she gets money, she goes online and hits PayPal on our site and she sends us money. It's remarkable. And I can't tell you about all the things that are happening in her life, but they're incredible right now. She's got some amazing things happening. I'll leave that to her to tell you. But she's doing some things in her life that are extraordinary, where people are giving her support in creating something amazing. That's how it works. Does it work the first day? Maybe. Or maybe we've been playing a small enough game that it's going to take a while to chisel away at it to get to a place where that flow can really come on strong. I think it's been that way in my life. Is that only since we've been here in Asheville, which has been a considerable amount of time like now, but before that, the goodness in my life would come and go. I mean, I had a business that was doing $4 million a year, and I was having trouble paying the light bill. Mostly because I just forgot to pay the light bill. But what a distraction to life. Whereas when you set the intention of flowing clearly in your life, things shift. and you get your work done, and you get the things done that need to be done, and people see you as competent and capable, and that supports you too, because that's an energetic flow. And you can't go around telling people, I'm competent, I'm capable, I take care of my, that doesn't mean anything. What you have to do is model that by doing the things that are yours to do, and what happens is, your wealth grows. My wealth has grown exponentially in my life, better than it ever has since Barbara and I settled in Asheville, North Carolina, because we set that intention to create a wonderful life here, and it has really worked for us. And you're all part of that. And we're all part of your experience of being here at this time. Asheville's not magical. But you are, and being here in this community is what's actually working for you. So that idea, and he talks about this in the book, about the idea of creating an environment that supports you in your wealth and supports you in the life that you're creating. Because you really don't do it alone. I remember President Obama said that at some point, telling people who were successful business people they didn't do that on their own. And I think it was how he said it that unnerved some people. But the truth is that we're all in this together. And for that environment to support us, we have to select. We're in charge, right? We're cause. We have to create an environment that supports us. We're surrounded by people that believe in us. This is that kind of place. That's why we're here. I'm asked often in our movement, are we going to continue to have brick and mortar centers? Or are we going to move more into online things and teaching people online? Well, we are moving into that, and we'll do it in a big way. But the truth is that we must have places like this where people can gather, look into one another's eyes and say, I believe in you. Because by me believing in Sandy, I'm lifted up. Right? But we are here to support one another, to find a way with one another to live the life of our dreams. That's our work. That's the thing that we can do here that we don't seem to be able to do out by ourselves, reading books and watching videos. We come here, and we're here for one another. And we go through the hard times, because there have been some hard times, and they're going to continue to be. There's going to be some struggles in people's lives. I think we've got 3 more people this week that are planning surgery.
4.
4 more? Okay.
3 tomorrow. Well, actually, 1 left operating room before surgery today.
That's the one I was going down the 3 for. But the thing is that we have to know they're okay. We have this amazing thing called practitioners, where people are called and said, so-and-so is going through this situation. What can you know for them? I can know they're the presence of the divine. I can know that their body responds perfectly to the touch of the surgeon. I can know that they're safe and whole and healthy, and they are rising above whatever condition is there. And we got a team of about 30 people, and they do that on request. We all stop when we see the email or when we get the call, and we do it. It doesn't take long, but you see it and you know it. And with a collection of people with that kind of consciousness, stuff happens. And then they meet with individuals and lift them up, and then a lot of times that doesn't have anything to do with a practitioner. It's just that somebody's supporting you. Just knowing somebody's supporting you, what a difference that makes. To have a support system like this, where you have that for one another. So I want to close this, my part of this thing, by asking you to close your eyes for a moment. So I want you to think about what it is, of all the changes that you could imagine in your life. Apparently, we're supposed to have about 5,000 of them. But if you could, in this moment, recognize perhaps the most relevant, important, meaningful one among all those changes that you, from the place of cause, can create in your life as a fact. What would that one change be? In your mind's eye, come to a place of seeing and knowing, hearing and feeling that change in your life. What does it look like? What does it sound like? Who's there? What are the conditions? What's the environment? Get it real clear. What is it that change would be in your life? Now, if you're imagining it, it's probably a distance away just so you can see it. I want you to put yourself right in the middle of that scene. So that now when you look around, the things that you saw at somewhat of a distance are right there all around you. Who's there? What's there with you? What is it? Does it have a smell? A taste? What does it feel like to be there? I want you to get as clear on this idea of what it is as you possibly can. You've got to keep your eyes closed, but just raise your hand when you've got that image clearly in your mind. Okay, keep your hands up for just a moment more. Let a few more people come up. All right, I will report to you that nearly everyone in the room has their hand in the air, so you've got it. You're in the midst of it. You can put your hand down, but hold that image of what you've got. You've got it right now. It's happening in your life right now. That change has occurred in its totality right now. What was the big thing that you had to do to get there?
Know it.
What was the big thing that you had to do to get there? What action did you have to take? What did you have to do to get there? That's the thing in this moment I want you to commit to. Can you commit to doing that thing absolutely in your life to take you to the place that you are right now? Can you do that? Of course you can. I challenge you to do it, to live it, to be it, and to share it with the world when it's here. And when you're ready, open your eyes. You are magnificent. Was that real? Yeah. It was real. That's working from first cause. You just worked from first cause to create an effect in your life. Whatever it was that you could see, you can have. It already exists because you saw it. It must exist. So go create that in your life. Thank you. That was fun. Take a break. Yeah.
Rolling, rolling, rolling. Wonderful. A couple of housekeeping items. One, if you want that package of goal-setting papers that we had a few weeks ago that John was talking about, Margot has them right there. So you can get one from her. And those of you watching online, if you would like those, we will email them to you. Just email us through the website. That is cslasheville.org. Yay. Also, this Saturday, we are having one of our 3 times a year, maybe 4 times a year if we're really on top of our schedule. This year it's 3 times a year, membership classes. And if you are not a member of the center and you would like to be a member, then if you have not filled out one of these cards before, I'm happy to give you one. Any and everyone is welcome to come to the class on Saturday. It's from 10 in the morning until 1 in the afternoon. It's filled with processes and games, and it's really not about the structure of this center or the teaching or any of that. It's all about how to get along with other people. And I find it very helpful. Yes, Drew?
If we come, can we walk on fire afterwards?
No, it's not a fire walk, it's a membership class. Because what we want to do is we want to create a model of how the world can be under this roof. And to do that, we have to be the change we want to see in the world. So we explore that in the membership class. Is there anybody in the room that wants to be a member of the center that's not a member, that hasn't filled one of these out? Yay, Melanie! Anybody else? I think it's the coolest group of people ever to be a part of, And remember, because there is only one, then we are not as weak as our weakest link. We are as great as the greatest one among us. We always lift each other up. And so being in a room full of people regularly that are demonstrating health and prosperity and wholeness in every way lifts us. We're like tuning forks, and if you strike one tuning fork and bring another one just close to it, you don't have to strike it. It just starts singing all by itself. And we're like that. We're vibrational beings, and we are affected by those people and circumstances around us. So one of the things that David Gikandi says is that we don't make progress in life unless we are lifting each other up. And I like that because it does so remind me of Wallace Wattles, one of my favorite books, The Science of Getting Rich, which is available on our website in PDF form and in the very first audio book recording I did. It's available on the website, and you can download it and listen to it. And what he says is that you may create money in your life, but you are never truly wealthy until you get wealthy in such a way as you lift those around you up. And I'm reminded of Costco and how successful it is, and it lifts its employees up instead of an organization that puts its employees down. And so what we want to do is we want to lift each other up, and the way that we do that is to first of all see the presence of Spirit as prosperity and wholeness in everybody around us, but it's also to stop separating ourselves from each other. And separating ourselves from each other in the world can look like, I better get it first before somebody else does. If we have that kind of a mentality, we're coming from an idea that we're living in a limited supply. And that there's, let's say there's only one. I better get it before somebody else does. Instead of, I live in an abundant universe where there's more than enough for all. We have ways that we can all get it, whatever that is. One of the things that Wallace Wattles says that Gikandi quotes in his book is that the physical supply of the world is almost unlimited. But the unformed substance truly is unlimited. And so no matter what it is you're trying to create, that if we were to get to a limit of the physical supply, which I don't know if you've taken a look around, but there is enough wood on this planet to provide a mansion for every man, woman, and child alive. There is enough gold yet unmined to make all of us wealthy. There is truly enough clean water for everyone to be able to drink, and techniques are coming more and more into form so that that dirty sludge can be turned into pristine drinkable water just like that. They've got a thing that John and I talked about a few years ago. There's a wonderful book out called Abundance. And it talks about all of the breakthroughs in modern science. There's a machine called Goliath. Yes. That can take sludge, sewage sludge, and turn it into pristine, clean drinking water. And it's about this big, so it can go into villages and things like that. There are also toilets that you can use that not only turn your toilet sludge into usable byproducts, but also makes enough electricity to charge your cell phone. And you can just take this and put it into a village somewhere. Because these are issues, you know. Going to the bathroom in the woods is dangerous because it makes people sick. And so these things are coming into form, and the world truly is profiting in a way that lifts people up instead of puts people down. So what I want us to look at tonight is our idea of oneness, both on this universal level, which means that Spirit is alive and well as each of us, that we cannot be separate from Spirit. I remember when I was growing up, God was far away on a cloud, and I was doing good just not to be noticed, because anytime I was noticed, I was hurt. But there was always this thing outside of me, and if I wanted to get anything, I had to get it from far away and try to bring it in. And often for me, since we're fessing up about hepatitis C and things like that, that meant stealing it for me. If I wanted to get something, there's no way that I would be able to have it in my life. Somebody else had it. So if I wanted it, I had to go take it from them. And that comes from a belief in separation and duality, two-ness, instead of oneness. In the world of oneness, there's always abundance and more than enough for everybody. In the world of two-ness, or the world of duality, then you can have something and that means I don't get it. And that is a very a poverty consciousness. What we are developing is a wealth consciousness. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
And so this idea of a wealth consciousness says that there's so much that I can help you instead of compete with you. If I'm in business with you, like John was talking about collaboration a couple of weeks ago, if I'm in business and I look at you as the enemy, then I'm looking at a limited amount of customers or profit or market share or whatever. And instead, if I look at that as there are ways that we can collaborate, there are ways that we can lift each other up, let's share advertising. You know, we're both in the same kind of business. Instead of fighting with each other and putting a lot of energy into that, let's lift each other up and we'll all profit together. It's a whole different way to think than most people think. But when we start seeing each other as opportunities for our growth that someone else would see as someone who's competing for our good, then we open up the doorway to have more than enough than the little pittance that our poverty consciousness had that we're fighting over. Do you see that? We are breaking through to a whole different realm of experiencing life on planet Earth to where there's truly more than enough. To where we truly can all have more than we could possibly use. And when we go into our lives like that, we open up the doorway for it. So I want you to watch your words. I have some words written down here. I want you to watch your words where you say things like, I'm going to see what I can get out of this. Sometimes people come into the center and they're just so working a deal. You know, they're just seeing what they can get. And anytime they want to do something, it's like, oh, what's this going to cost me? They're looking at this amazingly wonderful group of people thinking, I could sign them all up in my downline. Because who wouldn't want to sign you up in their downline? Of course they would. So they start trying to do that, trying to work a deal. We actually have a rule here that this is a no-sale zone. This center is sacred ground. And when you step foot on it, you are not accosted by people trying to sell you something, sign you up, or hit on you. Accosted in any way. And if that happens, please tell me and I will straighten it out. But there's so much of a mentality of wanting to cover these lofty spiritual principles with, oh yeah, and then I'm going to get that from you. And that creates poverty, not prosperity. When we look at something like how little can I get away with giving you or paying you, I'm going to really haggle on this. I'm going to get you down to your rock bottom. I want you to lose money on this deal. When you come at it from that way, which a lot of people do, then you are creating poverty in your life. Instead of saying, I have so much, I'm happy to give you whatever it is you want. This is a great thing you got, I want it, and I'm happy to give it to you because I know that I'm just going to get more. And all is well. Then you create prosperity. When you look at life as trying to take advantage, when you're envious of people, oh boy, I really wish I had that. You know, they must have gotten that by devious means. How many times did I hear when I was a kid growing up that rich people got their money by taking it away from poor people? It's not true. poverty is a poverty of thought. Poverty is a poverty of consciousness. You cannot take anything away from someone. You will only take it away from yourself. So if I am you, and that's what I want us to look at in this idea of oneness. If I am you and I'm trying to take something away from you, I'm taking it away from who? Myself. Me. I'm taking it away from myself. And if I am you and I want to give to you, I want to support you, I want to lift you up, then what am I doing to myself? I'm giving to myself. So think about this. There is no competition. The whole competitive plane is based on the idea of a limited supply. And if there's only a limited supply, then you want some of it. Holy moly, I can't let you do that. I've got to trump you. I've got to hurt you. I've got to wipe you out so that I can get it. No, that creates poverty. It creates poverty in my life. When we look at it, at the world, that there is an infinite supply of everything. And then we want to lift those around us up. It is the only, and I've said this to my peers. It's like, what is the matter? What is the matter with you people? You want your center to prosper? Have your people prosper. Your only job is that every person in your center prospers. And if you have a center of poor people, it's not them, it's you. You are a lousy teacher. So teach your people to prosper. Support them in prospering. Lift them up so that they can get a glimpse of the life that is theirs to live. That is our job. And so I want everybody to prosper. But if I'm in business, I want everybody in my business to prosper. I want everyone who is coming in to prosper. I want the people that they serve to prosper. And it is my job to help them prosper as much as possible. It is my job to help you prosper as much as possible. And if I can do that, then I can lift us all up. Wallace Wattles says that the truly rich person gets rich by throwing down ladders upon which those coming behind can climb. Other people think that they're going to get rich by climbing up and cutting the ladders off and keeping people down. But that's not the way it works, especially today when there is so much social media and when there's so much internet access and there's so many ways that people truly can come together and rise up together. You can do it just like that now. People can become millionaires and billionaires because everybody is so connected now and the money flows so fast. If we want to lift other people up, and I am truly, truly holding that the day of trying to trample all of our quote-unquote competitors is over. Because there is truly enough for all. There is more money. There's so much money in the world that every person, last I heard, could have over $4 million. That's every person on the planet could have over $4 million. There is so much wealth that we can all have plenty. And so when we lift other people up, we lift ourselves up. And when we try to hold back, we're holding on to a limited belief. Abraham says, you know, we're defending our limitations. We're holding on to a limited belief that says there's not enough, and so I'm going to fight for the not enough that I have. Don't. Let it go. Lift it up. This is why for 20 years we have given away everything that we have. We have one of the most extensive websites in the world teaching these principles. We have over 500, is it 500 Sunday talks on the website. We have workshops, we have classes, we have opportunities to contact practitioners and receive treatment. We have so much. I have recorded audiobooks. My hobby, call me nerdy. My hobby is to find metaphysical books that are in public domain and get them and then clean them up. Save it all as a PDF file because I didn't know that people around the world can't have Word. that Word is a very Western-centric concept, Microsoft Word. But anybody can download Adobe Reader for free. So you save it as a PDF file and put it out on the website so that one day someone from Africa comes up to me in the lunchroom at Asilomar and says, "Oh, Barbara Waterhouse, you are saving my country. You are saving my country." And now Oba King is almost a minister with all online education in Africa, teaching science of mind, using a lot from our because I always knew that it wasn't about the money, and I have gotten flack for this. Well, why don't you charge? You know, you could get $5 for one of those talks. And I've looked at people and said, and these are usually my peers, and said, "Oh, your purpose is to get $5? That's what you're here to do, is to get $5? That's not my purpose, to get $5. My purpose is to teach the science of mind to anyone who will stay still long enough to listen." And then I had one of my students who took a lot of classes, went all the way through Prac 1, left the center, and used everything that I taught her, and says that, to create a highly successful coaching business where she has made millions on these teachings. And has said, you know, that is your intellectual property. You have a legal right to receive financial compensation for that. But you know, my purpose in life is not to establish a legal right to receive financial compensation for what I teach. My purpose is to teach science of mind to anybody who will sit still long enough to listen, because that's what I am here to do, and that is my genius. And if I give it away enough, things will show up in my life to lift all of us up. That's why you can come to class without paying a fee before you ever come in the door. I was a very young minister, 28 years old in Miami, and the first half of the first year class was 16 weeks, and it was $165. This was in 1982, I think it was. $165 to walk in the door, and I never got it. I said, how in the world can I tell someone they can't come to my class because they don't have the money to come to my class, where I'm going to teach them how to have the money to come to my class? 82, 92, 202, 212, it's been about 35 years. And now many, many, many of the centers around the country and around the world offer their classes on a love offering. They're basic beginner classes so that anyone can come in at any time and learn something about how to create their lives in a better way, to lift us all up. And they're so surprised, the ones of the really successful quote-unquote centers that have thousands of people and they're doing it just to try it out. They go, "Oh, we had twice as many people and we brought in 4 times as much money." Give it away, lift your people up. So my question is, who are your people? Who are your people?
We are.
And who else? Who is it your job to lift up? Oh, that sibling of mine. Oh, my mother. Oh, no, they're just so screwed up. Oh, I go there, they're so negative, I just can't stand it. Then it's your job to lift them up. It's your job to bring in the light. It's your job to give somebody a chance. It's your job to teach someone. It's your job in this life to lift those around you up if you want to be lifted up. And it's not somebody lifted you up years ago and now you owe it. It's not like that. It's all right now. If you want to be lifted up, you have to lift others up. That is the only way that it works. It starts by seeing them as God in form. No matter what dumb... Oh, good. Michaela's in camp. No matter what... Oh, but Adavi's here. Hello, Adavi. no matter what dumb stuff they're doing. You have a question?
Yeah, so is it basically, you're referring like leading by example?
No, I'm talking about helping people. Lead by example, yes, but then don't leave them in the dust. You know, because you led by example. We're in the Olympics and you know how to run fast. So you're going to lead by example and run away and leave them here. No, we're in this together. This oneness thing is multifaceted. Oh, I'm one with all that is. Spirit is what I am. I'm open to the divine light and love. That's great. But when somebody is pushing your button, that's oneness too. And so what is it that you can do? And I'm not talking about being codependent and let people walk all over you. What was that in TA? Dumb Dora, doormat. You know, don't do that. But how can you lift people up? How can you be strong enough? I have so much strength and clarity and abundance and health and wholeness that I can give it away. And the way that I get more is to give it away just because I make room then for that flow of the universe to come through me. I give it away, I give it away, I give it away. Betty.
One of the things that I found that is such a simple, easy way to lift people up in random acts of kindness is to give them a compliment.
Sure, give them a compliment.
Because, you know, and I taught this to my son when he was 4 years old about, you know, he mentioned something about he thought the waitress had pretty hair. And I said, well, gee, Nick, maybe you should tell her that.
Right.
And so when the waitress came back, he looked up and smiled and said, you have very pretty hair. And it just like made her glow.
Right.
It's like, this was a lesson, you know, how you can lift people up with just saying simple things.
Right, and what that's doing is that's teaching you to look for the good in people. Teach, and you know, if you're feeling good, tell it to yourself, to your face. If you're feeling good about someone else, tell it to their face. Tell them that. See the good all around you and the good will grow. See the bad or the limitation all around you and that will grow. It's poverty is never from the outside. It's always a poverty of thought, a poverty of consciousness. And we can change that. This whole book is about growing into a wealth consciousness. And it's multifaceted. Starts off with quantum physics, which I love. We are not separate from the very molecules of existence around us. We are creating our life into form in every moment, in every nanosecond, in every teeny tiny thing. That form doesn't even exist. It's all an illusion. It's all smoke and mirrors, and the mirror is just up to us. We are the only one in our world. And so when we get that, then everything we see, everyone we see is all a reflection of us, and it's always a choice within us of what will we do with it. And whatever we do is what we get. However we see somebody else is how we are. So it's always about lifting and moving and positive, and of course you can, because that's what we get. If I don't have anything, then I don't have anything to give. And that turns me into a very cranky, bitter person. But if I know that, hey, I've got a little bit, I got a little extra time, I got a little extra money, I got a little extra ideas here, I can give you something, then I have an opening to have more flow into me. Not that I don't have it, but that I'm shut down to the flow. If we could open up to the flow of life moving through us, it would be amazing. Just amazing. So we have to think about how we see the world. Don't be a used car salesman. Don't see people in your life as marks. What can I get out of you? How can I manipulate you to do what I want you to do? How can I control you to try to be the person that I want you to be because I'm so terrified of letting go and being free? The truth is what you want to do is let go and be free. This is a book called Happy Pocket Full of Money that is not about money. It's about creating a wealth consciousness. And if you create a wealth consciousness, the byproduct will be money. One of the many byproducts will be money. And as you open up to that, and as you start to see yourself in a greater way, and practice that by saying, April, you're going to be a great minister. You're going to be a great minister. And Joe, you're going to be wildly successful. I see that in you. I see that in all of you. Because that, what is my choice? My choice is to go, oh, and then when I do life, I don't want that life. I've had that life, it sucks. I want a great life. And if I want a great life inside of myself, I want to see people great. I remember when I talked to you years ago, you said, I want to be in green building. It was a brand new concept. And I said, Mary Love, you can be in green building and you can be one of the nation's best. You just won the award of one of the 3 best realtors of green building. Yay! If we can start to see each other, and I'm talking about your family, your neighbors, the people in front of you at Sam's, at 5:45 on a Sunday night. What an interesting observation of humanity. All God informed, perfect, whole, and complete. I was so proud of us as customers that when the person with the giant overflowing cart went into the 10 items or less checkout, everybody was cool. Everybody was cool. Joe.
About traffic.
Traffic is a reflection of your consciousness. Yeah, Red Sea, part for me. You know, whatever it is. Or what I like to think of is if I am stuck in traffic, I'm there for a divine purpose. You know, my life is totally orchestrated for my highest and best. I am always in my perfect and right place. Send out love, send out wonderful energy. Who knows what ripple effect the boss yells at the dad who yells at the spouse who yells at the kid who kicks the dog. Who knows what ripple effect you will stop and set a new cause in motion by just loving everybody around you. You know, in California, if they're stuck in traffic, they get out and play Frisbee on the freeway. Oh, yeah. So we can do this, people. This is a third world problem. Eddie, did you have your hand up? No.
She meant it's a first world.
I mean, for first world, traffic is a first world problem. Oh my gosh, I'm not getting home in time to see my television show and grill my sirloin burgers or whatever. In getting ready to do this membership class, one of the things that I love is the idea of this center being a microcosm of the world. And that if we can master really being as spirit beings with each other, this is Center for Spiritual Living. If we can master being spiritual beings with each other here, and God knows we've had our experiences here, we've had fights and upsets and, you know, somebody hit somebody's car out there, or when before we had the second parking lot, someone blocks someone in, because we would just have people go around the drive-through and just stop and just pile up. So you've got the cars all pulled off to the side, and then this train of cars blocking everybody in, that nobody can leave until that first car pulls out. Some people chose to see that as a world of duality and chose to use that as an opportunity to justify emotions of limitation, which come out as anger and upset. And so we've had opportunities to work on that and to say there's more than enough time, there's more than enough opportunity, there's more than enough for all of us, no matter what the circumstance is. So part of what we do during the membership class that touches me so much is that I believe that if we can have a community that can actually be with each other as spirit to spirit, that creates a mental equivalent or a model for the world. The microcosm is reflected in the macrocosm. And so that's what I see when we come together. When people stay, when it was pouring, somebody said, boy, it was really pouring on Sunday after the celebration, and everybody just kind of hung out in the foyer and just marveled at the amount of rain that can come down from the skies. And nobody was upset, nobody was freaking out, nobody was angry. And if you've looked out in the world, it doesn't take much to get most people upset freak out, and angry. But that's from living in a world that you think has a limited something, whatever that is. A limited amount of time, a limited amount of opportunity, a limited amount of dryness, whatever it is, we think it's limited. And when we focus on limitation, we create limitation. So what we want to do is we want to focus on that higher level of reality that says there's more than enough for all. We're all in this together. In Lakish, in Lakim, Mayan, you are another myself. There's only one. All of you are beautiful reflections of Barbara Waterhouse. I am a fantastic reflection of you. There are no accidents or coincidences. We are all here by divine appointment because we are all here as the same one. And so when we see ourselves that way and see each other that way and give to each other what we want, we create that in our lives. If we withhold that, then we lose what we have. That's why the tale of the talents was even that which you had shall be taken away from you. If you're afraid and you bury it in the ground, then you're going to lose it all. But if you are moving out into the world, then you'll get a lot more. Did you have your hand up, Jane?
Yes, I was just thinking about the membership class. Is it 10 to 1?
10 to 1, yes.
And all people like myself can
Anyone can come. It's a great class. We play games. We do processes. It's wonderful.
Okay.
It's a good reminder on what in the world are we doing here.
Yeah, right.
Because like John said, there are people who believe you can just put this stuff on the internet and that's good enough. And I don't think so. I think that we need to be here together, that we give each other a gift when we're together. And it's touch, but it's more than that. It's to be able to reflect back to each other who we are. So when we do that, we are all lifted up. And it is, again, I want to be clear because someone misunderstood me last week. It is my intention that every person who comes to Center for Spiritual Living Asheville, whether you come physically in the room or whether you're part of our huge online community, that we prosper, that we are rich, that we are wealthy. And I'm not talking about socking money away in the bank for the center. I'm talking about you. It is my intention that just by coming into this door, you are more prosperous. You are certainly healthier. Not a doubt at all that you're happier, but that you prosper. That is our job. Because if we allow money to hold us back, then we are doing the biggest cop-out in the world. And frankly, if we can't be rich, then what in the world hope does someone with 10 kids in Africa with no clean water have? If we can't do it, it's our job to demonstrate prosperity, health, wholeness, and happiness. We have to, so that we lift the whole world up. Sue.
Yeah. I thought many times that I've been really lucky, fortunate throughout my life to be with people of like mind, to be with people that I could share this type of thing with. I think I'm lucky this very minute. But it's not luck. I mean, where else would I be? But I think, for me, all the good feeling that I get being with like-minded people, the things that lift me up, it's not where it ends. It's like a stepping stone to take that out into the world. Like when you talk about family, and I'm so glad you said that, because I've heard so many times, no, you don't understand my family. No, you know this person or that. Doesn't matter who it is.
Right.
The people in the store. You know,
That's your job.
The family. That's really. I mean, this is why I'm in this class, to take it out there, to take it out there, and spread spiritual knowledge and whatever I'm learning, to give it out.
That's our job. Our job is not to put our bushel under a basket. It's to take the basket off, climb up to the top of the hill, and hold it up high. That's our job. It's not our light, my light. It's our light. And if we try to keep it to just me, it comes from a belief in scarcity, lack, and limitation, and then that's what we create. When we realize that our light belongs to the whole world, and we're willing to climb the hill and hold it up, then it becomes the catalyst to create more light, or whatever metaphor you want to put on this, in our life. Every time we hold back, we create loss in our lives. That's why he says that disharmony is very expensive. It's very expensive. It's like I tell people, if you have a right to your anger, go ahead, get angry. Start taking all the money out of your pocket, your checkbook, and just set it on fire. Because you're coming from a sense of lack and limitation, and that's what you're creating. Harmony is very prosperous. So let there be peace on earth. Your job is to look at every person and every situation in your life and to lift it up. Lift it up. Forgive somebody. Let them off the hook. Gosh, we certainly have done pretty amazing things in life, and I'm always grateful to be let off the hook for some of those. Let people off the hook. Give people a chance. Believe in somebody. Go out of your way to do something. And you'll find that that creates money in your life because it creates a wealth consciousness. And the byproduct of a wealth consciousness is money. So I want to give you a little reality check. Next week is our last class. Oh. So those of you who have not demonstrated increased income yet, get on it. Open up to it. Let it pour into your life. Let go of how you are locking the universe out with beliefs and thoughts of limiting supply, and open up to the idea that I live in an abundant universe where there is more than enough for all, and I am accepting mine now. And then watch how things show up in your life. I loved what you said, Jane. Talk about the faith of a mustard seed. It takes a penny for her to believe in God.
Yeah, that's so thrilled.
Wow. You're thrilled with a penny. Yes, yes. So I'm very touched with that. And I guess then the only thing left is get your money out. Remember, get your money out before class. Don't sit here and write out a check. That's last second thinking. You want to think this through early. Be prepared. Open up. It's not random. It's not reactive. We are creating. We are creating in our world abundance of all kinds. We are creating in our world joy and happiness of being able to live the blessed life, of being able to eat the good foods and go to the great places with the people that we love. It really is your choice. And so I got to ask you.
Yes.
Ready?
Yes.
Are you ready to have what you're meant to have?
Yes.
Are you ready to do what you want to do?
Yes.
Are you ready to go where you want to go?
Yes.
Are you ready to buy what you want to buy?
Yes.
Are you ready to have money fall out of the sky into your hands?
Yes.
Are you ready to have money come in the mail?
Yes.
Are you ready to have people give you money?
Yes.
And repeat the treatment together with us aloud.
I surely know that God is the source of all supply, and that money is God in action. I know that my good is here now. I am so rich and so full that I have an abundance of money to spare and to share today and always. I know that true prosperity includes perfect health, perfect wealth, and perfect happiness. This word which I speak in faith know
week. Have a great time. Keep your eyes open because the universe is tracking you down with money.